I'm extremely proud to be a Bruin. We're not really known for our esports scene. Esports itself is pretty new to the collegiate scene. Being a college campus and being UCLA, I think the overall response has been extremely positive. Students across campus have been pretty receptive of the League of Legends scene. They're willing to accept that esports is a growing phenomenon, and there's a lot of players who don't even play League of Legends who just come out to hang out and see what the fuss is all about. To be a college player, not only do you have to commit your time to League of Legends, you also have to commit your time to your career, your studies.
Sometimes it can be a little busy, but overall it's a really cool bunch of people, and I would say that League has definitely been like a huge part of my college experience.
League of Legends is something that unites all of the players, and it helps us socialize, it helps us get across campus. We like to hang out in our off time. Sometimes we get dinner together in the dining halls, or we go out to eat together. It's extremely important that we bond as individuals and not just as players.
Esports in California, it definitely has its social aspects and its competitive aspects. So whether I want to just make really good friends who also like gaming, or whether I want to find people to help me improve as a League of Legends player, I feel like California Esports offers both of those.
It's good to have the support of the club. They definitely provide the resources that we need, the infrastructure, the coaching.
I manage our competitive team, find new members when people have to leave, find subs, find scrimmages. We're trying to make it more of a social club. Like, we want to have social gatherings, viewing parties.
We hold tournaments every quarter, raffles, and just try and get League community just involved in general here. We also have this thing called guilds. Each officer, leads a freshman or sophomore and just helps them become acclimated to UCLA and with each other. It promotes building friendships as opposed to just playing the game online.
Being SoCal, we're around a lot of other very big student organizations, and we've worked a lot with them, like over at UCI, USC.
UCI is definitely something we look up to since their club is really well established and has a really large population, so we definitely want to become, a club like them.
It's always a great time working with them and meeting with other clubs.
I have a lot of hope for future years to come. Esports in general is still growing, so I think the club itself will definitely keep on growing bigger.
Fortunately for UCLA, the league scene has been extremely developed. Representing UCLA in League of Legends like this in a national spotlight, it means all the world to me. I can show the world, I can show my parents that this is actually a real thing. I can represent my college, I can balance my work, and I can still be successful in both life and in League of Legends. UCLA, fight, fight, fight!
Hello everyone and welcome to week 7, the final week of the uLoL campus series. We're coming to you live from our studio in Southern California. Once again, I am Dom Sater-Romer. Joining me is Mr. Aiden Zyrene Moon. Zyrene, how you doing today?
I'm doing really well. I'm really excited to close out the regular season here with 2 teams. One of them is my alma mater, so I'm excited.
Yeah, a little bit of a crosstown rivalry. Before we get to that match, though, we're going to take a look at the standings. As we mentioned, it's week 7, so we're starting to see some finality in how these teams are placed.
Yes, of course, some of these teams have not played their week 6 games, so University of British Columbia and Georgia Tech are undefeated, as well as Robert Morris University. And of course, how we got here was 500 teams competed back in November. We took the top 32 of them, and now, after today, we're going to know who the top 16 are, 4 in each conference. And then they go to each conference playoffs to find out from those top 4 who's the number 1 team in each conference. Then those top 4 go to the uLoL Campus Series Championships, where they compete to see who's the best college NA and compete for $660,000 worth of scholarship money. That's a prize pool.
That's a pretty big prize pool. However, today we're going to be taking a look, as we mentioned, at some of the teams you can see in the Western Conference. It's UC Irvine versus UC Los Angeles. And this is, as we mentioned, a crosstown rival.
Sort of crosstown. One of them's in Orange County and one of them's in Irvine. The other one's in Los Angeles, as the names say. But they are about an hour, 2 hours away from each other. Sometimes they have events together. But yes, these teams go very far back in terms of how competitive they are because they're so close as well, and they have large communities.
They certainly do. And if you want to know more about the teams or the communities around them, head over to ulol.leagueoflegends.com. You can find VODs for our previous broadcasts, more info on the teams, and find a club near you to join and start playing your own collegiate League of Legends.
Yeah, of course, that's how I got involved. I was like, oh, well, University of California, Irvine has a club. I guess I'll join. And then it took over my life, so...
Yeah, it's still hard to believe when I was walking down Library Walk one day and there was a booth that said, hey, you play League of Legends? Come hang out with us.
You're like, I do. Is that for me?
Exactly, right? It's a very exciting thing. But we're going to go ahead and take a look at the lineups for these 2 teams. First up, it's University of California at Irvine. In the top lane, they're going to be opening up with, I believe, oh my goodness, Tower of God. Yes. In the jungle, it's Captain Kiru with 80 mid lane, Chizek, 80 carry. It's near you. I can't even talk today.
You can't.
It's game over, man. It's already game over. Their 80 carry. It's your new password, AMJC3, and their support, Mockingjay. And you see Irvine right now, they're not doing that great. You know, they're currently at 2 points in the standings in 8th place.
Yeah, I rate them 8 out of 8 on that one, as in how they're standing right now. They're last in the conference right now. The West has historically been a very good conference, very dominant, and I believe they've won pretty much every major tournament to date. The big thing about the West, though, to keep in mind is it's always fluctuated in terms of who's the number one team. UCI in 2012, 2013 were the most dominant collegiate team that we've ever seen, and then UBC took that away from them. But of course, we're going to jump over to the other side of who they're facing. In 6th place right now, it's University of California, Los Angeles. In the top lane, well, vegetarians love him, and you might too. It's Soy. In the jungle, it's a man who's named after what he had to keep telling his damn laners, what's wrong? In the mid lane, it's a man who's also balancing school, League of Legends, and being a top CSGO player. It's Skill Shots Fired. An AD carry, you know, his play might be a little dirty, but it's just light sludge. And then on support, it's the Tilt Lord herself, Daphne, rounding out this roster.
So this is mostly a rivalry match between these two teams. As you may have noticed on the bracket, UCLA currently at 4 points in the standings. They are unable to get playoffs, even if they do 2-0 this set. That's going to bring them to 7.
You know what that means?
And 4th place was at 8th.
That means it's completely a school rivalry right now. It's no longer about the standings. You're not even contemplating them right now. You're going, UCI, if we beat UCLA, we knock them down to where we are now, and they can end 7th or 8th, and then you get bragging rights over them. Mm-hmm. So that's what this is all about, is trying to bring them down to where you were and replace them and put them down below you. Get down there.
It's about which team is the best team in SoCal. So we're going to be expecting some exciting stuff with this match coming up. And, you know, UCI, as we mentioned, they're at 8th place, 2 points in the standings. This is a team that, you said earlier, they have a long history. These guys, the organization has been together since 2012.
Yes, they have actually been one of the biggest clubs. I believe they boast about 1,200 members now in their League of Legends club that is signed up. Then they actually are really big, and they're expanding to other esports as well. And UCI, 2012, they won the uLoL beta season, got 1st place. Then, season 1 of uLoL, they won the entire thing. Then 1st place there. Season 2 of uLoL, they ended up getting 1st place at Lone Star Clash 2. Then they also won CSL in that first one and got 1st place. Yeah. And then they made top 4 in NACC. And so they have been doing a fantastic job in the past. They had a fantastic lineup. It was Vitine, number 1 player on the ladder back in season 1 and 2. He's an 80 carry, very gifted, very young player, but he carried a lot of that team. Redoron, little Kevin, and then that team split, and they were basically put to the 4 corners, and the winds separated them. And now
to the 4 corners
we have UCI in their current state. And I feel like that guy right now who is always like, man, my school, my college, back in the day, we would like give people a run for their money. We beat them up. They had nothing on us. Number one League of Legends team in United States. And then I tell people that, and now it's like, look at this UCI now. You're kind of like,
they're still top 8 in the West.
They're top 8 in the West. Yes, that's true. They are still rather good, but they're not that number 1. So I feel like the guy who's just being like, my college was badass, and then you go back and you're
got
just
to go back and reclaim
he
that
comes
glory.
back and everything's in shambles, and he's just like, I have to fix this. So I might go. I can go back to UCI. We'll have a go. Yeah, come in, Captain Kiru. Watch your job. I'm going to replace you on this roster. I'm going to bring you guys back. No, that's for a separate storyline,
yeah,
separate broadcast.
We'll find out if that's going to be the case. But as you can see, we are in picks and bans for this match. UCI versus UCLA, grudge match of Southern California. Which team stole the other team's rug that really tied the room together? We're going to find out which dude is more dutier in this one. The bans are on the map, as you can see. Zillion, Kog'Maw, and Ezreal taking off, along with Alistair, Fiora, and Kalista. First pick, Lulu, still going to be locked in for UCI. And again, this is being played on 6.3.
Yes.
So 6.4 patch notes have not hit yet.
Exactly. We haven't seen those Fiora nerfs. We haven't seen the GP nerfs. So GP's still up. Kog'Maw, very strong, taken off the board, but they take Lulu anyway to protect their AD carry. So UCLA on the other side, I wouldn't be surprised if they take Lucian here, because they've been saying that AMJC3, he only plays Kalista and Lucian, and if they take those away from him, they cripple him. And we're talking about grudge matches. Soy went on record saying, this match, all he wants to do is kill AMJC3 over and over and over again. They went to high school together. They were on fives teams, and he's just like, nah, Tower of God's got nothing on me in the top lane. My focus is on AMJC3. So Soy is looking to just kill him over and over and over again as much as he can. So we're going to be keeping track of that kill score of this game because that's what's going to matter.
Yeah, this is going to be a very important grudge match outside of the school rivalries. The player rivalries in addition. So Nautilus locked in for Soy. We could see What's Wrong taken in the jungle, but Light Sludge, as you mentioned, taking away that Lucian, and with Callista banned away, that puts AMJ in a difficult situation.
Yes, it does. He's going to have to dig deep for something. I believe he played one game of something like Ezreal in the past. I don't have it right in front of me, but that's banned away from him. So he's going to have to pull out something new here and see what he's got for that AD carry position. But I do want to talk about What's Wrong because he's the newest member to this roster on UCLA's side. It was originally Stunt, and if you guys were watching closely in that feature before at UCLA, you saw Stunt in there. He's wearing that Ember kind of shirt, and he's just hanging out because he used to be the jungler for this team. And then he went off to Ember. He ended up leaving UCLA to go and play in the Challenger Series. So What's Wrong had to be pulled up from the UCLA B team, and now he's the shot caller of this team. So they were throwing a big loop on it because they're like, well, now our style's different, new shot caller coming in. Light Sludge actually spent a little bit of time as the #1 player and challenger in season 3 or 4 when they first introduced that ladder. So I definitely think that this is a team that has some talent on UCLA's, but they've had an adjustment period.
We'll see if they're going to be able to pull it together and win the title of Best in SoCal for 2015, or if UCI are going to be the ones who take it in this set. Now, Captain Kiru locking in that Elise for the jungle, and AMJC3. I keep on thinking, like, what could it stand for? But it's just I don't know. I think I'm just gonna go with
Damn, Jesus Christ!
Oh my God! Oh, that's caught me off guard there. Caitlyn is going to be the pickup for AMJC3, which is just such a mouthful. I think I'm just going to go with AMJ.
AMJ. It's like MJ, except you're like AMJ.
AMJ, yo.
Little bit of a twist on it. Get your tang on. Your twang. There you go.
The answer from UCLA, though, is going to be Janna and Gragas.
I felt like I just gave Tang a shout out. It's a kick in the pouch, by the way.
Oh,
it took me back, man.
The orangutan on the skateboard. Yes.
I just aged myself right there. Like, so,
no, that was the best, though.
Man, we're growing up in an era where people aren't going to know what it feels like to push a VH.
Hold on. If you know what Yoo-Hoo is, then we're talking.
Yoo-Hoo's like still around though, right?
Yeah, but it's like when you see Yoo-Hoo, you're like, oh, I haven't had Yoo-Hoo in 10 years.
Or Mondo, or the stuff where it's like the Kool-Aid and the little plastic thing and all that. But yeah, we're gonna grow up in an era where people don't know what it feels like to push in a video cassette into the VCR or anything like that.
Rewind.
Yeah.
Oh man,
more difficult times.
Real quick, I just want to point out. I just noticed this about the bans for UCLA. They banned AFK. Yep. They're not even here.
But they are still all really good bans to ban out. Then they took the Lucian, so it still goes to their game plan. So Lucian, Janna, very strong bottom lane, and Daphne is pretty much the peeler for Light Sludge. Her job is to keep him safe all throughout the game, and she can have a really, really great game and be one of the most mechanically sound players on that team, or she can tilt off the face of the earth. So, hoping for one of those performances a little bit more than the other on UCLA's side.
So the pressure is off for the playoffs. This is a pride match for the two teams. You're no longer playing for more money or more scholarships or anything like that. This is just between you and the other team.
Yeah, that's usually what it always is. Me and the other team. Because they're in your way to get something.
From getting the win, yes.
There you go. And UCLA, I mean, Bruins versus the Anteaters here. I think Bears are a little bit better. Just saying.
Oh, is the ZKE the sound that the Anteaters make? The Zot?
Zot? Yeah. Oh, well, no. That's ZK. Z-O-T is Zot.
It's an anteater sneezing.
Yeah, just barely. He can't get it out. His tongue's in the way.
Okay.
Anyway.
Victor, final locked in for skill shots fired with everything swapped around. That's going to be our final two lineups. That Lulu ends up going in the mid lane as Tower of God takes Trundle in the top, and everything looks to be pretty standard.
So UCLA went on record saying Soy just wants to kill AMJC3 over and over again, AMJ, and now they're going to try to keep him safe with Thresh Lanterns. He has a safe champion in the Caitlyn very far back, and then the Lulu. Mm-hmm. So reaching him and killing him, going to be a little bit of a task, but Nautilus is up to it a little bit. There's going to be some split pushing here on UCI. 4-man unit, Lulu with the clear, Caitlyn with the setup of the traps to stop sieges, and then Trundle will be the one split pushing. And on UCLA's side, a little bit more team fight.
Yeah. We'll see how that works out. We want to know what you think, though. Who is the best team in Southern California? Is it going to be tweet at uLoL with hashtag UCLA win or UCI win? Let us know what you think. Is it the Anteaters or is it the
Bruins?
The Bruins.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Anteaters are pretty fierce.
They are. I mean, they could strangle you with their tongue. And they're low to the ground, too, so you know they'll get that angle in.
It's
like
the
Wolverine.
Low center of balance,
Yeah. I went to an elementary school that had a Wolverine as a mascot. And
That's
it was
terrifying.
fine. Exactly. It was fine for like the first few years. And then we eventually had this thing where it was like the student body had to vote on what the new mascot was going to be. Because Wolverines were apparently too brutal because they go for the jugular because they're low to the ground. That's what Wolverines do. They go straight for the throat.
And they just climb up.
Yeah, and it's just brutal. It's brutal. And so when our teachers were like, finally figured out what that is and what it does.
Wait, the teachers didn't even know?
Well, they didn't know what it does, right? It just sounds awesome.
It's a Wolverine.
I know. It's not the X-Men, but it's still awesome, though. Still awesome. And
that's like saying, I had no idea this hurricane would be deadly.
Then we ended up, and, of course, more student body members are females in elementary school for us, and it was the Dolphins, so rip. And then I think we eventually came to, like, the bees or something, and then everybody's like, well, that's just as dangerous.
Well, bees are painful.
I don't remember because I lost interest after we were no longer the Wolverines. I don't remember what it became.
A bee stings you once, but a Wolverine.
But sometimes that one sting is enough.
Even if there are a lot of bees.
Yeah,
it's a limited amount of this. So we're 45 seconds in. As you can see, everyone has loaded onto the Rift. And everyone just seems to be hanging out. Light Sludge, going to be tossing out some light slingers. You will spot AMJ.
AMJ.
As they sneak forward.
Throughout the ward, walks up, throws out the ward, runs away. Good job, AMJ.
He walked backwards.
He turned 360 degrees and walked backwards.
To get out. Tips his fedora. Malution.
This is what this cast is going to be the entire time, by the way.
Yeah. Okay, so let's have a conversation about that Nautilus.
Let's.
Is it soy or is it soul?
I talked to Alex Wang,
the coach.
The guy in the feature. He's their analyst and the coach. He's basically Scar's IRL Smurf. And he was saying that it's soy.
Soy.
So it's like so-E-E, like he put 2 capital E's. So he said you can call him soy as well. All right. I'm just going to call him soy.
Gotcha.
Sweet. I remember being in Ventrilo and typing basically his name, and it would go soy, 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 soy. Like the Rafflecopter goes.
Has entered the channel.
Yeah, and all my channels, I'm actually Smooth Talker Betty Crocker. That's what I have in all my Ventrilos and stuff.
The crock pot is on.
Oh, Tower of God.
Ooh, yeah.
And go for that slow cooking.
Will spot out what's wrong.
What's wrong? What's wrong? He's waiting on his smite.
Oh, but here comes Captain Kiru. Skillshots is caught with Chizak. Doing a bit of trade, and it's going to be Kiru who ends up snagging away that red buff. Quick double buff start. 4 members on that side of the map.
Yep, lane swap here actually initiated by UCI, and then the invade from Captain Kiru gets the Kiru squad on them, able to pick up that red buff and steal it away. So now the question is, what happens with the red buff on UCI's side of the map? Because support is top lane right now. It's a 2-on-2 in top, so you actually don't have a numbers advantage on that weaker side of the map. If you pull your release there too. Oh, skill shot's fired. He's getting wrapped around here.
Find out. Skill shots.
Red buff slow.
A bit of damage.
What?
Ooh, that cocoon missed, but it's still going.
You
First
didn't need to
blood.
go. You didn't need to go.
Oh, goodness
Whoa.
gracious. Captain Kiru still gets out.
Oh, Captain Kiru. I think he was going to die anyway. I'm pretty sure you got that last little fadeaway auto and then the flash in for the Q. He still gets out, thankfully. Minions are very helpful in that. But, yeah. I think you throw the cocoon while he's polymorphed, but he does have cleanse, so that cocoon, he was like, this gank is so easy, and I don't even need this cocoon.
Well, he even did the red buff start where you walk up, get into auto attack range for the slow, and he still didn't quite land it, so Captain Kiru.
People still don't understand that that's a thing, where Elise will just walk up and then give you the limp-wristed auto attack and just be like, Now you're slowed. Now I can land the cocoon.
Caught in my web.
I see so many people just weave back and forth like, oh god, he's going to throw the cocoon. I'm like, ha, take an auto.
And Elise just gently pats you once with a
Yeah.
bit of cloud.
Red smite plus red and auto is crazy, especially the fadeaway, because you'll do all of your spider stuff and then maybe they'll flash away. You swap forms and you just give them that last auto attack and then they'll burn for like 100 extra damage if you have that red smite on.
Yeah, that burn is pretty brutal. We'll see if Kuro goes for that red smite as he completes his first recall.
Nice trap setup here
Goes for
from
boots first, and yeah, AMJ,
AMJ.
he's setting the stage for a good show.
Oh, he's banned. He's getting all these.
Oh, Captain
shots in
Kuro's
there.
back in
Ooh.
the mid lane. Skill shots. He's going to take some damage here. Captain Kuro chunked down to half by what's wrong. Teleport from tower as he looks to join up. Chizek forced to flash away, but that's the wrong way. Looks like he's going to be able to get out of there. Soy actually gets in the mid lane. His tower now forced to flash,
hook.
but the hook finds him and pulls him right back in. Barrel provides slow. Can they catch up? There's the body slam on the Kiro. He's looking for it. He goes down. Soy gets the kill while Mockingjay goes deep and nets a kill onto Daphne.
All right, the entire time I was sitting there like, why is the Caitlyn not coming down to support? But Mockingjay and AMJ, they end up getting a kill on that top side. So, and there is an assist on it for AMJ, so
Styling
reasonable.
play. Yes.
Now it makes sense why that happened. Of course, Lucian in the bot lane farming by himself the entire time, so Light Sludge has been able to garner himself pretty much even CS, some turret damage, but solo experience is the big thing because he's getting all of that experience by himself, so he'll be level 6 fairly early on.
Yeah, level 5 right now to the level, just now 5 of AMJ. And he's still continuing to put some pressure on this bottom turret. Captain Kuro is on that bottom side along with Tower of God, so we'll see if they decide to make any plays happen as the recall nets a completed BF sword from AMJ. And Tower of God is going to show up and catch just a little bit more CS. Seems to be doing just a bit better than Soy, as he has had some time all alone. Captain Kuro, oh! Light Sludge is like, can't catch me? Not quite. Can't touch this. And he sidewalks out of the lane.
And we have just so many artists in this game now.
The artist formerly known as Chizek.
He's actually known as Chiswick now, so I don't know if he's formally known.
We'll see how that works out. He's going to put out a new album anytime soon. Drop a new beat on skill shots. So it is very passive early on, 6.5 minutes as everyone's just continuing to farm up. Despite the lane swap, AMJ actually heads back towards the top lane after Light Sludge stayed in the bottom, actually hasn't even recalled yet.
No, just sitting down there on his BF, or before his BF sword in the top lane though. Daphne sits on a trap.
Yeah, Hook finds Daphne. Takes just a little bit of damage. It's not too much as Mockingjay just continues to put out some damage. Tries to light him on fire. Tower of God, though, he's going to gank in the bottom. He's got no flash. He's going to eat a full culling here, looking to get out of range. Oh, he dodges it at the last second, but Light Sludge flashes to net another kill for UCLA.
And this is going to be a bloody game. I can see it now. 500 gold difference between these two teams, and it's just going to be back and forth kills. Even though it's a lane swap, we're still seeing people go down very early on. Tower of God, though, double the CS of Soy, and he's been getting solo lane experience. So they've been trading solo lane experience onto Light Sludge at the cost of Soy for Tower of God getting solo lane experience at the cost of AMJ. So that's the trade here. But Soy, he gets to go up against AMJ. You know, they used to be on a 5 team together, like I said before.
Yeah, this
Soy
is
just
his
wants to kill him.
desired matchup.
He just wants to kill him.
Hasn't quite had the opportunity just yet, as he did get that kill on the Tower of God earlier.
AMJ is like, what'd you say about me? Oh, I'll lane against you, Mr. Top Laner. Come here.
The trash talk has begun rather early this time around.
Yeah, it's all me. I'm just putting words in these guys' mouths. What did you just call him?
Did you actually just do that?
Oh, man. Yeah. Soy, he just said your name makes no sense.
Mockingjay, woo, eats a hook and says, you know what, I've got some hook too.
He's got to walk all the way back.
Oh, get that pillar of filth. Oh, Tower of God. Lets him go. Lets him off with a warning.
Pillar of filth, pillar of ice now. That skin takes you back. But
it is
alas,
pillar of ice now.
I know. Sometimes you forget that Trundle's part of the Freljord, not a junkyard anymore.
I mean, originally it wasn't a junkyard. It was like this. It was the what was it? The rainforests. that
They're all polluted.
Zyro was also from. Whatever those crazy forests were in Valorant. I forget because we've kind of forgot that those exist. Not forgot, but we haven't had any champions from that area lately.
What forest? Because like I know that Lulu's from the Glade.
Well, yeah, but she was from she's also a Yordle, so that's
outside Vandal City.
Yeah. But like Trundle and Zyra, and I think even Ari was from like the. Oh, this is gonna murder me.
Yes, it is. Slowly but surely, and I'm gonna watch you die a death with 1,000 paper cuts by the lore book.
Yeah.
I'll enjoy every second of it. So where's Trundle from again? The forest place.
Currently from the Freljord. It's going to come to me later. Like,
all right.
In 20 or 30 minutes, I'm going to be like, aha!
Okay. You know what's going to happen is it's going to happen right after broadcast. You're going to be like, no!
I know it now.
And you're also going to get a bunch of tweets about it right now.
Oh, yeah.
So. Mockingjay throws the lantern backwards to feign that somebody's there, and so he can clear the pink ward.
Well, somebody actually was there.
Well, he was walking up, but Tower of God, ooh,
flashes.
No tower.
Yeah, he's got no tower to run to. He's saying, oh God, get me out of here. The barrel knocks him back in. Oh, he's actually going to try blowing the teleport. Can they burn him down? Can they burn him down? Oh, they don't quite. He makes it to the turret. There goes the ace in the hole on Light Sludge. Daphne flashes and gets out.
Tower of God gets out barely. No tower there, and able to just TP. That was risky.
He waited for the CC to wear off, though.
Yeah, he waited for all the CC.
No body slam, no hook.
Yeah, and no ultimate. Because even the passive of Nautilus will interrupt it because it's a root. So that was really well timed.
Dragon now being secured by University of California, Los Angeles. The Bruins trying to take a more concrete advantage than that first turret that they have in the bottom lane. Once again, the duos, they recall and head back to the top. Guys, come on.
Yeah, turret's not down. They're putting their top laner inside of a lane where he's got a long lane. So I would actually stick him in the top lane. I know there's a gigantic wave there, but that would give him even more of an advantage over Soy. And Tower of God is most likely going Titanic Hydra into Iceborne Gauntlet. And that's really what you want. You want to put him in that one-on-one with a safe turret and then put your duo lane, which might be at a little bit of a level disadvantage here, but has a CS advantage up against the Lucian, up against the Janna, and try to push the turret down that way. But it's been answered here. UCLA want this matchup. And AMJ was told that they want to pick on AMJ a lot because they think that this is the biggest skill difference. They think that Light Sludge is way better than AMJ. So you gonna take that, AMJ?
Well, it doesn't really seem like it as he's continuing to farm it up.
Walks up to the lane.
Ahead in CS by 20.
Yeah, the just Caitlyn things. Walks up to the lane, tells him to beat it. Get out of my lane.
Just beat it.
Get out of the lane.
Gets a quick auto attack, says, you've been hit by. You've been hit by.
Struck by.
I thought it was hit by.
Yeah, maybe it is.
Oh, hook is
First,
fine.
well, like
Light
first
Sludge.
one is.
There it
I
goes.
think they changed it over.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Thunderlords pulls him forward. AMJ.
They know there's no flash on Daphne. And just going to push him out of lane, says beat it again.
Yeah, once again.
Sometimes you just have to repeat it.
Oh, Captain Kiru looking for a kill. There goes the challenging smite, as you predicted.
Yep.
For some super duper burn, along with red buff.
Oh, there's a TP coming from behind here. Collapse from UCLA, trying to whittle them down.
Oh, Culling finds Kiru. MJ. Oh, Soy's looking for that kill, but the Lantern gets him out. There's a double flash, and they're locking a lot of AoE. 2 kills picked up by What's Wrong. Mockingjay eats a slow, and he's slowly being whittled down.
Body
His
slam?
Swifties are running forward. They dive it. Light Sludge gets the kill. 3 kills, UCLA.
And UCLA, they were talking about how their strength is team fighting. They might get behind in the early game, and that's their weakness, but they always come together for team fights, and they drafted for it here as well. The Victor coming in, and the TP from Soy, really well placed to get the lockdown. The retreat from UC Irvine, in theory, was good, but then it went completely wrong when it turned out that all 5 of them were there. But they might actually trade 2 turrets for this.
That surprising moment when suddenly the rest of the team shows up. That tier 1 has gone down in the mid lane for UCLA. Tier 2 being worked on now by Tower of God and Chizek. Here comes Soy. The hook is going to find Tower of God, and that Tier 2 dropped as well. So Soy is unsuccessful in protecting it. It's 3 kills and 1 turret for 2. Though What's Wrong looks to make it a little bit more. There goes the Wild Growth, and What's Wrong gets destroyed by Chizek. Soy takes a bit more damage. Chizek is low, but he's got a bit of a shield for now. Captain Kiru slays Soy.
And once again, UCI go back into the lead by about 1,000 gold here. They evened up the turret count, but they got a tier 2 mid, which allows them to open up the map and push down mid, and then you walk off to the sides. This allows you to get other turrets very easily. Pushing down mid gets you so much control of the map because it's just that central area.
Yeah, the top tier 1 is answered. When it's all said and done, it's 3 turrets for 1. Overall, that's going to open up the gold lead in favor of UCI by just a bit.
Yeah, this is that great example of you might be winning in kills, you might have just had a really good team fight, and you slaughtered them, but what are you losing on the other side of the map? We saw this happen in the LCS with Renegades versus Immortals. You'd be able to 5-man them in 5v4, and you kill them, but what are you losing on the other side of the map? Especially early on, where towers, these outer towers, are worth so much. Kiru,
oh no! He gets hooked out of the lantern, tries to jump over, but takes a lot of damage. Hook pulls What's Wrong out of the way. Shots fired, doesn't have enough mana. He tries to turn it around. Their target selection is a little bit weak here from UCLA. They don't find any of the kills they're looking for, though. What's Wrong?
He wants a hook. Mockingjay gets a hook.
Still looking for it. Chizek, let's get some damage. Hook Cocoon is going to find some. The tanks are in the front as they should be. Suddenly, this is 4v5 as Light Sludge looks to answer with a tier 2 on the other side of the map.
Yep, looking at that top side of the map there. Lucian on that turret. He does have Essence Reaver, and he has cooldown reduction boots. So he's going to be throwing out a lot of Light Slingers at this turret. But he's not going to be able to take it.
Yeah, not quite able to take that one.
Uh-oh.
MJ. Oh boy, Soy. You made your intentions just a little bit too clearly known in continually trying to hunt down AMJ.
Yeah, Soy just always going to go after AMJ. Just get me in his lane. I'll kill him. I'll kill him.
Get me in there, coach.
Let me at him. Oh.
Daphne chunked to half once again. This seems to be a pretty difficult game for Daphne.
Yeah. She's 0-1-4, so she's still doing well. The only thing is she's usually used to following Light Sludge around and being basically attached to him as a support and making sure that he's peeled for, because that's her primary objective, is just peeling for the AD carry, and they've been putting the AD carry in solo lane the entire time, so she's been having to defend other people, walk around, and try to adjust her playstyle in the middle. So lane swaps can throw people off pretty heavily.
Yeah, well played from UC Irvine. Gets them just a little ahead by about 1,500 gold in the early game. Looks like they're going to be taking this bottom tier 1 turret as 3 members show up on the bottom, but
mid.
What's the trait? UCLA are grouped up in the mid lane. Tower of God has teleport. Can he keep Chizek alive?
Well, Chizek's going to have to keep himself alive for the initial portion. And What's Wrong on the backside?
Yeah, Chizek gets chunked to half. Oh, Chizek dodges the hook. There's the depth charge. Full culling is going to find him. He goes low. Light Sludge doesn't finish it off. They don't get the kill, but they're certainly getting this turret.
Yep, bottom turret's going to go down, though, and that's going to be a push here from the Caitlyn. No TP from Tower of God either. This turret finally goes down on the tier 1 and mid, so they even up one of those turrets on the other side. So UCI still 2,000 gold up, and the rotations on the map, well, they're rather good by both teams. They have the right idea. It's just the execution and that extra step getting in there. There are a lot of flashes on UCLA that were left. Could have flashed in and could have rooted, could have thrown out something a little earlier.
That was one of the big concerns for University of California at Irvine, that they, or excuse me, University of California, Irvine.
Yeah, we just comma things. We don't put it at.
Exactly. Yeah. They feel confident with their plans. They feel like they're making the right plays, but their execution sometimes seems to be just a little off.
Exactly. That was the big weakness for UCI. UCI was talking about their strength is when they have a lead, they can snowball it, but sticking to the plan, they kind of Leroy Jenkins it sometimes.
Looks like we're seeing that right now. Soy is
stick
on
to the plan.
Hunt. Flash, snare, MJ, is he going to be able to make it out the hook?
They're standing on it.
He can't take the lantern. Force a flash away. There it goes. Skill shots fired and skill shots land. He's going to take that one. Tower of God is forced to take the long way around while the rest of UC Irvine retreat to safety. What's Wrong continues to chase.
It's constant 5v4 here, top side of the map. There is a TP available for Sol. He'll have time to go back, or Soy. He'll have time to go back, but he's actually just going to TP straight to that top lane and catch that wave and catch that push. Still, about a 2,000 gold lead here for UCI. And yeah, sticking to the plan is hard. It's difficult for the squad. They usually deviate from it. They'll know what to do, but executing seems to be the problem.
Well, what we just saw was a very literal description of their strengths and weaknesses. So their strength is when they're ahead, get further ahead. But the plan was push the tier 2. Well, suddenly Nautilus is in your face, and they couldn't quite execute on that plan, thanks to the aggression from Soy.
Yeah, and it looks like it's about only a 1,000 gold lead now for UCI. And Soy was sitting in that bush. He was sitting in that bush, and he's basically sitting there going, I'm waiting just for MJ. I'm waiting solely for that former teammate. High school chums, but I mean,
well,
we in college now, brother.
Yeah, it's when you know the person so well. It's like, I'm going to do something really cheesy that I would never do in solo queue, but I know I can do it because you are the kind of guy who's going to make this mistake and walk close enough for me to flash snare you. And that's what we ended up seeing in that kill. Yeah. Light Sludge clearing out the Direwolf camp as he starts going to head towards the bottom lane and continue to try to catch up in CS. MJ has been ahead in CS for most of the game. Same thing with Tower of God, but UCLA are still keeping pace because they're finding these picks, because they're finding these kills around the map.
Yeah, that's what this game's going to come down to. It's going to be a lot of roaming around the map, a lot of team fighting, but UCI have split push here. The Titanic Hydra completed, wave clear there for Tower of God, so he's going to have a good time just walking up, killing turrets. He can join team fights now as well once he gets his Iceborne Gauntlet. Becomes a lot easier for him to execute on, but here comes the siege, and there's Tower of God in the bot side of the map. There's no TP available for Soy, so a little bit of a timer here. 5-on-4 though, but there's engage tools for UCLA.
Oh wow, the hook for Soy narrowly misses as the minions just barely die in time. 5 versus 5 grouped up in that top lane, but no one's quite able to secure the objective. The siege for University of California at Irvine is very strong. We'll see if they can quite break down this tier 2 as UCLA continue to try to defend and just zone UCI away from that tier 2 turret. Try to keep them away from these objectives, but they are so intent on snowballing.
Yeah, UCI, they are keeping the pressure on, and that's something that they excel at, but of course the way that they keep that pressure on is sometimes it goes awry for them.
Yeah, now there is going to be another wave. 5 members again grouped, but Chizek in the mid lane along with Tower of God split pushing on the bottom. He's got his teleport. There's no answer from Soy as he did teleport top to defend from Chizek just a few minutes ago. He's probably got about 2 minutes before he gets that teleport back up, and this is Tower of God getting a lot of free damage on the turret. Is he going to be able to break it down? In fact, I think he is. Soy makes it there in time to watch it fall to pieces. 21.5 minutes in, red buff secured by Light Sludge. Spooky Ghosts. Did that one just change direction? Oh, it did, because it locked onto the target, and then UC Irvine MJ recalled. Interesting. I had no idea that was an interaction like that.
Oh, it won't walk straight to the spot. It walks towards the person.
It goes to the person, yeah.
Right.
So it follows the person
like
if it changes.
Yeah, exactly. Paths just like a champion in a game. So if you wall off a spot, the champion's going to go, oh, well, I need to walk all the way around now. So.
But it just pulled like a Pac-Man 360. It went forward and then completely turned around. Oh, no! He's got the cherry.
Actually, it's just the dot, isn't it? The cherries are just points.
Oh, you're right, you're right.
Yeah, I never understood what those things were. It's just a flashy dot. He's got the flashy dot! Ah!
Well, the flashy dot stands out. Right, they're called pellets, aren't they?
Yeah, I actually don't know the technical term in Pac-Man, but I assume they're pellets.
Yeah.
They're pellet-like.
So it's a radioactive pellet?
Ooh.
And he becomes Superman?
And that's how he's able to attack ghosts. Interesting.
So the one that I've always heard was it's LSD, and he's freaking out.
But he's seeing ghosts in the first place, so...
Well, the ghosts are after him, but then he has a stronger one, and then he can fight them back.
Anyway...
Speaking of fighting back...
4 members, that's a little ambitious there. Oh, they have AMJ.
Oh, they've caught him. He's flashed. Will he be able to get out this time? The Wild Growth keeps him standing. Soul gets the kill, but they trade over. What's wrong? Tower of God is the target. He's trying to keep himself alive. A long hook finds Light Sludge and pulls him under the turret. They're taking a lot of damage from this turret, but Light Sludge gets it. They're diving this so cleanly. Will they be able to get out now that they've gotten these kills? It seems like yes, they will.
Yeah. Shots fired, not there, and also Captain Kiru, a little bit off on the side. So it was a 4-on-4, it was a 2-on-4 at the start, but they use everything to get MJ. MJ he has flash now. I'm sure if he had it then, he probably would have used it. I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt on that one. But they really have just a target on his back. Everything for him, even if you lose the fight, it's worth it for UCLA. That's what their goal is right now.
Just trying to get themselves back into the game, ahead in kills, down 2 turrets, but only down 2,000 gold. So if they manage to take those 2 turrets, that is going to bring it right back to even in terms of overall gold. Hook from Soy is going to miss. Same thing from Mockingjay.
And just 5 members once again in the mid lane here for UCLA. UCI, they have that split push available to them. Tower of God, he still has TP.
We'll see if they can pull off a split push as Soy has a teleport of his own. Triple recall, as it looks like UCLA don't quite feel comfortable sieging against UC Irvine. That Caitlyn Lulu is going to do a lot of poke, along with the wave clear built into their kits.
Yep, also keeping a good trap lineup is very important. Gragas, bot side, what's wrong? Making sure that he can push out the wave a tiny bit, but he still needs to be around that Baron. 24 minutes in. Oh, skill shots fired. Skill shots missed.
Oh, he's forced to flash over. There's the ace in the hole. He gets some good damage. Mockingjay gets knocked aside. Wild Growth keeps him alive. What's wrong? Is tanky, not quite enough damage to 100-0 it. But
Nautilus.
Here comes Soy. Will he be able to catch up in time? The culling is going to find Chizek. He goes down, shut down by Light Sludge. And they're going to continue pressure forward. That means it's only AMJ who can wave clear this wave and try to keep it standing. 4 members grouped with another flanking on the side.
Yeah, this is so effective for UCLA. They're just grouping as 5, and UCI seem lost in terms of how to counter with a split push. Tower of God will get 2 turrets eventually, but they aren't giving him the time to do so, and you need to protect that. You need to keep him at... you need to be able to give him the time window to execute on the split push. Otherwise, it's completely useless. The Tower of God, he hasn't been a part of these last 2 or 3 fights at all.
UCLA grouped up on the Baron now. Clear out a significant amount of the vision, but Chizek is spawning right about now. So past 20 minutes, he's got home guard. He races back to join with his team, makes sure that there isn't going to be any sneaky Baron shenanigans going on in this game. Not in his house.
Not in his pit. Not in my pit. Chizek just sounds like it could be the Baron's name. Baron Chizek.
Baron Chizek.
It's almost like Kazakhs. Chizek.
Baron Kazakhs.
Velkaz. Chizek.
It does have a very void-sounding name.
Lots of Z's, lots of
Chizek.
Zik.
If you put an apostrophe in there, I could see that being the name of a champion.
Yeah.
Chizek.
Of course, it's a completely 100% original idea, not taken from anybody's screen name.
No.
No. Not at all. Just like Ezreal and Ryze.
Self-generated. Yeah.
No, just, it's our idea.
26.5 minutes in, and suddenly, there's only 500 gold separating the 2 teams. Soy going to catch this wave on the bottom for some much-needed CS. He's almost 80 down from Tower of God right now as he's been splitting the entire game.
Yeah, kind of at the the sacrifice of his team, the cost of his team.
But that's the trade-off, though. Soy has been 100% focused on finding AMJ and finding kills whenever he can. And you can see that in his scoreline. 2-1-3. He's participated in just a few more. Tower of God not quite having the same success rate, though he does have a similar amount of gold when it's all said and done. Skill shots is going to find Tower, get some good damage, lands his skill shots. Didn't quite have vision just yet. Here's what's wrong. They're trying to turn it around. Skill shots nets the kill.
Yep, going after the split pusher now, which means that 4-man unit in the mid lane needs to push up. They have that top wave pushing as well. So you're looking at pushing an inhibitor turret and a top lane tier 2. And this bot lane, tier 2 at risk here. Send somebody back who can wave clear, and you might not lose 2 turrets. You might just lose 1 tier 2 for another tier 2.
Yeah, those minions are so slow in the bottom lane. Looks like UCLA are having a tough time responding to this multi-wave pressure from UC Irvine.
That's a big wave. That's a nice wave.
Yeah, this turret is going down. Home guard gets them there, but it's just not enough. Though they continue to pressure forward. Suddenly it's 4 versus 4. What's wrong? He's going to find Captain Kiru. He says, Avengers assemble, and his team doesn't quite catch up to him. He's forced to try to get the rappel out of there while Soy is in the front line for his team. And there goes a huge cask separating them. What's wrong? Flashes to dodge the hook skill shot. Has a monsoon. He's still alive. Finally going to end up going down. MJ in the bush is going to get so many headshots. Tower of God finds Daphne with that Titanic. Continues looking for Soy. Doesn't quite get it. Another hook pulls Soy back in. Oh, God. He gets out with his life.
They can keep sieging the turret here on UCI's side.
Yeah,
Just get more damage on it. They have a couple minions.
3 versus 3 right now. Cullen clears out the minion wave, and Tower of God takes a bit of damage. What's Wrong is finally going to join up with everybody else in the hook for Mockingjay.
Yeah, that ace in the hole actually could have killed What's Wrong instead of using it on Daphne. If that ace in the hole had just been used on him, if you had vision of him, somebody used a blue trinket because there were 2 of them. Not sure if they were 100% available, but you would have been able to kill What's Wrong, and then that would have been even more of a siege because they would have picked up Daphne almost pretty much regardless because the slow came in from Tower of God with his Iceborne Gauntlet. So Irvine not getting as much as they could have out of that, but still evening it back up here between UCLA and themselves.
Yeah, this very chaotic, very even game. University of California, Irvine having just a little bit more success playing the side waves, playing for the turrets, whereas UCLA are looking for picks, and they're managing to find them time and again.
Yeah, I actually really like this build too from Caitlyn, just an aside here. Runan's Hurricane, Freak kind of turned me onto this idea that it's really under-purchased, and I agree after he started throwing the ideas at me, because it applies the on-hit of Fervor of Battle, so you're getting almost 200 damage per hit around this point in the game if you get 2 extra bolts on it. And then you have Blade of the Ruined King. That, not maybe 100% agree with that on Caitlyn, but still, lifesteal off of multiple enemies is so good. And it charges headshot really quickly.
Do all 3 bolts proc a headshot charge?
They will charge it up faster. So 1 shot will give you 3 worth. So if you stand in a bush and you get all 3 Runans, you get 6 towards your headshot. So I believe every other shot is a headshot at that point.
Oh, looks like this could be a bit of a trade.
Baron.
Dragon being secured. Light Sludge and Daphne
They're
are
going
left behind to fill it out. And it is started off by UC Irvine. Here comes What's Wrong.
They might have time to actually do this completely.
Teleport from Soy into the back of the
cancel
pit,
it, yeah.
And he cancels it.
Oh, I'm actually rather unsure about that. I think what you could have done is just wall it off, make sure that you're able to stop that Nautilus once he got in. That was a really split idea there from UCLA, and now UCI, they can't get back to their base. Inside track here for UCLA.
Those minions are very low health, though. The turret's still going to go down. Hook is going to find Soul in the front. What's Wrong? Misses his body slam and eats a box. He's chunked down to almost no health. He drops despite the Monsoon. MJ gets some big damage. There goes the ace in the hole for just a bit more poke. Culling for the fadeaway.
Oh, there's a slow.
Yeah, flash slow. Skill shots fired. Can he be kept alive? Soul is in the front line. He's so low, and he's able to stay alive for now. Light Sludge is doing some serious work in the back.
Light Sludge just trying to pick up these tanks. Blade of the Ruined King is a good buy against Gragas and Nautilus, so he's doing a decent amount of damage there, but you have to worry about how much he's going to be doing to these squishies with that build.
Ooh, flash pillar finds skill shots. He drops a laser for a little bit more damage.
Just pushing out now. They have 1 member down on both sides, but that's jungler for support. But the support is a lot of their pick potential here on UCI. What's Wrong jumped in there, used his body slam throughout the cask, and it actually didn't hit anybody. Mockingjay was off to the side and started channeling the hook instead of moving. So I believe that was the primary target there for What's Wrong. And you can start this Baron up. You can do this very quickly.
Yeah, Light Sludge and Daphne are in the area. They drop a ward to get vision.
Oh, tower's not there.
And UC Irvine have
now
to
they're run back
away. They're trying it again, though. Tower of God has got to be the tank. Baron did heal up a little bit. They know that this is happening. UCLA aren't responding. They're just giving it up. Finally, they're starting to react and head towards the pit, but Baron's already down to half. Make that a third, now a quarter. And its
2,000
is going down so fast. Here's skill shots. A laser finds Chizek. It's going to be secured. The smite was early, but it doesn't matter. Baron now taken by UC Irvine. Can UCLA find the kills? There's a scatter. What's Wrong? Gets the AoE kill. They find MJ as well. Skill shots nets it. Soy looking for Mockingjay. They get another kill into Tower of God on the far side. If they can get this, they can make it completely worth in the total scheme of things. Mockingjay, ooh, doesn't get slowed. Here comes the hook from Soy. Is he going to be able to land it? Flash Auto is going to secure it.
Yeah, and in that top side of the map, though, you can see that Captain Kiru, low HP, but he still needs to clear out this wave. He's going to push this gigantic wave top because there's a gigantic wave bottom. He's going to Baron buff it up a tiny bit. Mockingjay!
Oh, an auto attack is all he needs, and Daphne nets the kill. Finally, support versus support battle. And the inhibitor will go down. Captain Kiru finally completes his recall as he heads to base. tries to push the turret unsuccessfully, but that inhibitor has gone down.
Yep, and that's Baron for UCI on one member. And when you're retreating from a Baron pit, you always have to think about what are you going to give up for it. So many members were already low. You already had some used ultimates. So at that point, you sack a member. You have somebody who can stall, possibly just make sure that they can't chase every single person down. And you saw them try to fight instead of retreat. At that point, you start, as Caitlyn, you start putting down traps while you're fighting Baron because you trust the smite. Put down traps in the entry point. I actually don't know what MJ's trap level is. I've only been seeing 3 traps at a time. So if he's actually maxing trap last, I think that's a bit of a suboptimal leveling route now. I think that putting a lot of points into trap second is super worth it. But we'll see what he does. As soon as I see it over again, I'm going to be able to have it hover and show me what it is.
More accurately pinpointed out. No, didn't he put out 4 traps when they were retreating from Baron?
Well, he's level 15 now. Okay, there we go. Cool. So he has 5. He has rank 5 in it, so he's had it since 13.
Cool.
But I haven't been seeing him actually using them to wall off areas completely. Because when you have that at rank 5, you're able to just put it entirely down one side of the Baron, and they have to walk over them. Or you put it entirely down a lane, or you wall off your inhibitor. But we're not seeing any of those. We're seeing him put down 3 at a time, and it's actually it's throwing me off a little bit because
that is sort of what we've been hearing about MJ. However, he plays Lucian, he plays Callista as his 2 primary AD carries. Well, this is probably a secondary or even a tertiary pick for him. And he's been doing a great job farming. He's sort of fallen off now that we've gotten towards the mid to late game. But he's just not quite finding that effectiveness in team fight that Light Sludge is finding.
So, looking for what's wrong here. Well, they find what's wrong. It's a Gragas clearing out your minions. But
if they could find what's wrong that easily.
Yeah, sometimes it's staring you right in the face.
Yeah. Well, even so, sometimes it's easy to find what's wrong, but to solve what's wrong?
Sometimes what's wrong is just a fat man
drinking beer on your lawn.
With a barrel.
Yep. Celebrating the World Championship.
Yeah, well, that's actually not wrong. That's what's right. That's what's right with the world.
That's what's very right. 36 minutes in, Spookies go out. And despite having the fast track down the mid lane, what's wrong proved right for UCLA and was able to zone away UC Irvine from that sneaky mid lane inhibitor.
Yep, and this might be 4th Dragon here for UCLA. They have a little bit of an advantage in the gold. They do have the superior team fight at the moment. Tower of God 2 levels up on Soy, but it's a Nautilus. Nautilus is really hard to actually kill as a split pusher.
Yeah, despite being the tank killer with that subjugate, Tower of God not going to use it and instead decides to hold on for potentially a little bit later fight.
Yep.
Now Dragon number 4 spawning for UCLA. And with a quick recall from MJ and Mockingjay, they're not going to be able to contest. This is Dragon 4.
Yep, Dragon 4 going over to UCLA here. And 5th Dragon in 6 minutes. Looking at about a 42, 43-minute 5th Dragon for UCLA. That's where UCI has to fight. We've been seeing UCI kind of skitter around the map. Am I going to split push? Am I not going to split push? The indecisiveness, and we talked about it. Sticking to a plan is so hard for this squad to do. They'll know what they need to do, but they all just don't do it at the same time, and the plan gets thrown out the window.
Exactly. There's a difference between having a plan and following a plan.
Yeah, and that's why there's that line, I love it when a plan comes together. Because sometimes you'll have the plan, but it doesn't always come together.
Seems like UCLA, their plan is coming together rather well, as they were able to knock down that middle inhibitor, but the bottom inhibitor turret has been cleared for them. We'll see if University of California Irvine can answer. 37.5 minutes, and there's only 300 gold separating these teams. It's neck and neck as the 2 styles clash.
Yep.
For that primo best in SoCal title.
Bottom lane, we see Flame Horizon there for Tower of God. So much CS, just put it on that split pushing duty. And Soy going to be thrown down to that bottom lane, pinging him back. So Tower of God backs Baron in 1 minute and 30 seconds. Wave actually crashes against that turret on the bot side, or the inhibitor on the bot side. But right now, it's about getting that vision, waiting for these objectives. Nobody's going to fight unless there's something to fight over or somebody gets caught and you know you have a numbers advantage. Inhibitor in the middle, respawning soon, but this is a giant wave. MJ wants this wave, but that might be the cost of the inhib in mid.
Wow,
Or Chizek.
Chizek takes a lot of damage. It's a flash He doesn't even get to wild growth and gets solo killed. There goes the Pillar of Filth to try to keep them away, but UCLA are looking for this inhibitor, and they found it.
Yep, Light Sludge flashing forward, making sure that he has the best play he can there, and Tower of God getting engaged on. It's going to take a lot to kill him, though.
Yeah, he's so very tanky. Thornmail, Spirit Visage, Titanic, Hydra, chunked down to about a third of his health. The Spirit Subjugate brings him right back up, and he heals, but now it's 5 members of UCLA. They finally bring him down. Godlike kill out of Light Sludge. He's 7-0-5.
Yeah, it actually looked like he subjugated onto the Gragas there with the 220 armor and not so much magic resist. May have been a better target to go after Soy there. Not quite sure, but I believe that's what he did. But Thornmail comes through for Tower of God. It's going to be really hard for Light Sludge to kill him, but he does have Lord Dominic's Regards and a lot of crit.
We'll see if that comes into handy. Blue buff has spawned, and UCLA
Baron in 10.
looking to take it as they head towards the Baron. Now, Vision has been secured. Scuttlecrab just now fading away. As that Baron is up, skill shots.
It's still only 1,000 gold difference.
Snipes it away.
It's very close. It's much closer than the gold, or the kills will tell you.
Hook finds it in a lantern. Whoa. Captain Kiru, unafraid of Soy, walks back towards him into melee range to take the lantern. But here comes...
What's MJ doing? MJ's on the other side of the mid lane. They're just going to get this Baron for free.
It's shredded down so quickly by the damage from UCLA. An early smite is even used.
Wow.
Plus some quick empowered recalls. They could even have completed full recalls and gotten out of there before UCLA could have responded.
Yeah, Tower of God was still down from the previous catch, so he just came back up, and they didn't want to go check it because he was down. But I still feel like not even harassing them is a little bit of a... You're giving away too much, or even setting up a trap line or anything like that. But I guess it's better safe than sorry, because Tower of God, if you were able to delay Baron for any amount of seconds, Tower of God's TP would have been available when he came back up. So you could have had him enter the fight if you're able to skirt around it. Possibly get an ultimate out as well. Like if you can get an ultimate baited out of Soy or What's Wrong, their ability to start a fight goes down drastically.
Not quite working out for UCI. Now Dragon is up in 2 minutes. Baron's still going to be up for another 3.5 for UCLA. Looks like they're sending all 5 members towards the bottom lane to continue putting pressure down there. That's a quick rotation to the Dragon if they're able to find this inhibitor after the wave. Plus some very deep vision for UCLA.
Yep, very deep vision there. They have complete control of that jungle, and you can see What's Wrong. Walking straight up to this turret on the bot side, he warded up that jungle on his way over. Just basically holding his ground here, making sure they can't shove out that wave. And they're late again! These are Baron buffed up minions. And this is Soy. He's so tanky, he's barely even taking any damage from the turret.
Yeah, they've managed now to find the inhibitor turret. They chunk it down so quickly and dropped it. Captain Kiru dashes back, but the repel is canceled. Looks like What's Wrong going a bit deep. They're just splitting UCI up for now. What's Wrong is low, and he's still alive. A shield keeps him standing. They net 1, now 2 kills. They're turning it into 3 kills, and UCLA just pile drive UCI into the ground to take this win. They're on to the Nexus turrets right now. Light Sludge looking for a few more kills to pad his resume. 8-0-7, 42 minutes in. The 2 Nexus turrets go down. And UCLA are going to take the win in decisive fashion over UC Irvine.
And that's that 8-0-7 there for Light Sludge. Light Sludge was number 180 carry in Challenger, had that rank for a little bit there in Season 3 and Season 4, and it's still showing that he has that type of mechanical ability, and he saw those opportunities, and he grabbed them, and he took over the game. That's what UCI was afraid of, and that's what UCLA wanted. They were saying that matchup is the one they want to tilt, and despite that top lane being 100 CS down, Tower of God wasn't able to affect the map like Light Sludge was in the middle of these fights.
Yeah, so much damage Light Sludge was doing. This guy was all over the map. 8-0-7, 15 out of 23 of his team's total kills in the end. This guy, I mean, and on the Lucian that he counterpicked away from MJ. If he can try something like this again in game number 2, that could mean that UCLA takes the title of best in SoCal.
Yeah, MJ actually looked very uncomfortable on that Caitlyn. Not only were the traps not set up appropriately, but the team fight positioning was a little awkward, especially when you're up against a Nautilus and you're up against a Gragas. Right here, great example. Gets knocked back. MJ actually has flash, so MJ does have flash here, but unable to use it. gets hooked back again. So there's actually a couple frames in there where you could have flashed as AMJ. So that ended up being a little bit of a problem there. Looked uncomfortable on it. Now Soy's just able to tank this turret. Light Sludge skirting on the outside. And Soy, he gets cocooned, but he's still tanky. Nautilus, as long as you have enough armor to tank turrets and enough HP to make your W extremely effective in that mid-late game, you do your job.
Yeah, and it's just a montage of all of the fights that we're seeing right now. And a significant majority of these fights were instigated and activated by University of California, Los Angeles. I mean, these guys were all over the map looking for kills, looking for fights, and finding them.
Yeah, they were finding a lot of fights here. Skill shots fired with the good stun, and then the follow-up and the double kill when he's basically pinned against the wall. Right there, you had Blue Trinket available on AMJ. AMJ, if he had Blue Trinketed where What's Wrong was in that route, that ace in the hole would have been another kill, and then they would have cracked that top turret. So mechanical misplay there, leading to an actual macro loss.
Another trade in the mid lane now. 31 minutes in is AMJ. He does get the kill, but this is just the amazing turn that we see out of UCLA. Their ability to keep their calm in pressure situations. So much AoE gets tossed out here, but they're still able to turn it around and net a few kills thanks to the active and mobile play of Light Sludge.
Yeah, Light Sludge skirting around these fights extraordinarily well, but there's so much pressure on AMJ with the comp that UCLA have. They drafted for team fighting. That's not really what UCI drafted for, and they weren't even sticking to their split push strategy when they reached that mid game. And that was the big problem, is now you're fighting, you're playing UCLA's game, you're playing the game on their terms, and UCLA, you're able to throw out these point-and-click ultimates, the Nautilus ulti, the body slam flash from What's Wrong. So you're able to take the fights that you really want, and they kept doing that over and over again.
Yeah, it seems like we keep hitting on this story. You know, UCI, their weakness, they get these great strategies, but they just have difficulty committing to them. And again, we saw it in this game. The split push strategy wasn't able to commit to it, and it ended up costing them.
Yeah, UCLA ended up getting the win there, so they're up one game at the moment. Best of 2, so they can get 3 points if they win again and put themselves a little higher in the standings. Unfortunately, it's not high enough for playoffs, so right, like we said before, it's for bragging rights.
Yeah, this is all about which team is the best in SoCal. We're going to find out in just a few as we get ready for game number 2. Don't go anywhere. The uLoL Campus Series is going to be right back. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the uLoL Campus Series. We're about to get into our last game of the regular season. It's week 7, game number 2. It's graduation day for some of these teams.
Oh, some of them will go on, but of course, some will return next year if they don't make it. But of course, conference playoffs will happen later on. And then there's also that uLoL championship near the end. So.
And to find out more information on these teams, where they're at in the standings, and where they're going to be going depending on where they are in the standings, head over to uLoL.leagueoflegends.com. And again, you can use that Find a Club tool to find another club near you so you can potentially participate in the future.
Yeah, also keep an eye out on that website for where the you're going to be able to find the conference playoffs and where you're also going to be able to find the uLoL Campus Series championships. That'll be announced later on in the future.
Yeah.
So if you're interested, go over there, hit it up, and keep an eye on it, bookmark it, come back later.
Yeah, for now, though, we're going to return back to our final matchup, UC Irvine versus UC Los Angeles. Now, in game number 1, UCLA took a heavy team fight comp, and they demonstrated their comfort with it, finding picks, finding fights, finding kills again and again and again.
Yeah, all they did with their bans was they banned out a carry top laner, and they made sure that Tower of God doesn't have this champion that he's able to 1v9 on, right? They gave him Trundle. That was okay. Despite going up about 100 CS over his lane opponent, pretty easy for him to get pushed out of the game when he's a split pusher. Fiora, much harder to deal with. And then they also banned out Kalista and took Lucian for themselves. So UCLA came in with a good strategy. They were able to exploit the small champion pool that they thought MJ had. And then they saw the rewards of it. They definitely reaped the benefits. And on top of that, I think the last thing I want to mention here is that UCLA like to draft for themselves. They don't draft to counter. They draft for themselves. They ban to counter, and then they draft for themselves.
And we saw how effective that worked for them, able to pick out that team fight comp, and they did look incredibly comfortable. Now, this time around, we're in game number 2, with number 1 going to UCLA. It's up to UCI to turn it around. MJ, he looked so uncomfortable on that Caitlyn over the course of the game. This time it's even on red side, so he might not even get a chance to take a look at that Kalista or Lucian in this match.
You can first pick the Lucian, and then you're perfectly fine. Ban Kalista as your last ban. UCI, they ended up banning Kog'Maw and Ezreal. I actually think you might, here's a crazy world, right? Oof. A world exists where you leave up Kog'Maw and Ezreal, and you ban other things. You let him take something so that you get Lucian.
Whoa, now.
But that's a crazy world. That's a different world.
Careful. It's a mad world indeed. We'll see how that works. Kog'Maw already banned out.
Because you know he's going to play Lucian.
Yeah, we'll see if that
take it away from you.
Ezreal gets banned. Because that Kalista and Lucian are still up. Lulu banned away from Chizak. A little bit of respect to that, and it was pretty effective over the course of that game.
So now MJ is going to be able to get at least one champion that he's proficient on between the Kalista and the Lucian.
We'll see.
If he enables Mockingjay with Kalista, that might be what they need. The Alistar ban prevents the Alistar-Kalista combination that UCI likes. So I think that the Alistar being taken out is intelligent. And Janna was first round picked previously, and that's what they're going to do. They're going to break it up.
Yeah. Kalista locked up for Light Sludge. That means UCI don't have to feel rushed to take that Lucian now that they know that AD carry has been locked in.
Lucian top.
And just to deny it, Soy is like, you know what? I'm going to go back and hunt you down even more, AMJ. This time when we lane swap, I'll be prepared. Nidalee was being hovered. We'll see what UCI decide to lock in for their final pick. Janna did get banned away from Daphne, though.
Yes, it did. Daphne having that Janna taken away from her. This is the last game that these two teams will play in the uLoL Campus Series. So they're going to play
2016.
What they want to play in the 2016 uLoL Campus Series. This is the final game. Go with comfort. Go with what you love. Go with what you think is going to give you a great chance of winning. And Tower of God, if he takes Riven, I know he's a mechanically great player. Is he going to take it? Because if he takes it this early on, okay, good.
Okay, so yeah, he tried that in the last game with the Trundle, and he was, as you mentioned, able to Flame Horizon, get 100 CS over his lane opponent. He really tried to put his entire team on his back, but just didn't have enough room up there.
Yeah, that's really hard as a Trundle to do so. You really carry your team by being able to beat the enemy top laner. And Trundle, although he's a tank buster, Nautilus is kind of a different breed of tank buster because he gives himself an extra percentage of his HP. So when you subjugate, the W is basically the subjugate in terms of life stolen. The W becomes incredibly annoying and scales so well. Nautilus is pretty much unkillable. I think he's really, really powerful top laner. So.
we'll see.
Bad matchup.
We'll see what he decides to go with, if that's going to be a Graves top or perhaps something else. But that is Graves, and now Ezreal locked in for UC Irvine as UCLA look for their next two.
And Ezreal, I believe, was the thing that we saw MJ play. Despite Lucian being up, he's playing the Ezreal into the Callista. Landing those skill shots is going to be very important. And then the Graves as well. Possibly jungle, possibly top.
We'll see where it ends up going. Rumble and Morgana now locked in for UCLA.
Speaking of possibly jungle, possibly top,
Yeah.
Rumble is partially a jungler now, partially a top laner. We haven't seen top lane Rumble in a very long time, but we have seen jungle Rumble more recently. I'm interested to see where this goes, because if it ends up going to Soy, then he has a top laner that's hyper mid-game focused with team fighting, which suits the style of UCLA. But he can also reach MJ with that ultimate every time. I'm calling it's going to go on him every time.
So far we've got 2 AD carries for UC Irvine. We'll see if they get up to 3 or possibly even 4.
Yeah. Rumble's super good against multiple AD carries. That's
Yeah.
why people were like, oh, he's a super good jungler. Well, he destroys multiple AD carry compositions, and he gives you the tool to reach the back line.
The Electro Harpoons, the Equalizers, whatever it takes to get into the back. Looks like it's going to be Lux now locked in, likely for Chizek in the mid lane. And that Poppy now locked in for what I'm thinking is Tower of God.
It can be either or.
Yeah, it can be
Poppy
flopped.
jungle, Poppy top. So you have double flex pick here. Depending on the matchup, you can make sure that you get a good matchup in that top lane. If both players actually play both of those champions, sometimes that is actually a problem.
Yeah.
And when you're not a professional team, whenever I'm with friends and stuff, it's like, oh, we can't really flex Graves and Poppy because only one of us really plays Graves and the other one really plays Poppy. So
you know where it's going to end up. We'll find out where it's going to be after they get to the last pick. UCLA looking at their last 2 champions for the uLoL Campus Series 2016. Nautilus locked in once again for Soy, and Jin for Light Sludge. Let's see how sneaky he can
be. Is that
be.
Jin in the mid lane?
Oh my goodness, you're right. It's skill shots fired. Oh!
He's a CSGO opper, confirmed.
Yeah, oh my gosh.
He actually was talking about how he plays League of Legends for the college. He plays CSGO at a very high level, and he's one of the top players in the United States. And he's also attending school. So he's balancing all of them at the same time. And that's why his name is Skill Shots Fired.
This guy looking to be incredibly mechanically skilled. Nocturne is going to be locked in. Wow.
Poppy support.
Poppy support it is, with Graves in the top lane. This is awesome. Look at these lineups. I mean, you've got Jin in the mid lane, Rumble in the jungle, double AD carry, plus a Nocturne to get in there, Poppy support. I could go on.
Yeah, so you have a lot of backline access here with UCLA. You have the Jin ultimate for slows. If somebody gets hit, you can root them with the W. You can throw in the Morgana ulti, Morgana bind, throw hooks, a Nautilus as well with the point and click. So AMJ's going to have a hard time surviving, and UCI, they're going to rely on Captain Kiru, who most likely will go tank later on in the build, mid-game, and Nocturne's not the tankiest of champions by any means. Poppy support doesn't get enough gold to really be tanky, so you're looking at a very squishy team composition. Lux in the mid lane will give shields, but then you have that Graves and you have that Ezreal. Your core damage dealers are very squishy, and you don't have a lot of protection for them. You're relying on that Poppy, but there's still ways to reach them with Rumble Ultimate and the likes.
Yeah, well, this time AMJ taking someone a little bit more mobile on that Ezreal to try to get away from Soy's hunting hooks. We want to know what you think for the last time. It's the uLoL Campus Series 2016, our last game till we get to playoffs. Tweet at uLoL with hashtag UCLA win or hashtag UCI win, and let us know what you think as we get ready to get onto the Rift. This is it, ladies and gentlemen. Who's going to take it? Who's the best in Southern California? SoCal, currently, Los Angeles has a lead.
Yes. We might not even know who's the best.
Oh, you're right.
Because they can split 1-1.
Yeah.
But then UCLA has more points.
Be a tie.
So
oh, no!
technically, UCLA will, of course, have more points. Still, no playoffs for both of these teams, but it's for fun. It's for bragging rights. If UCLA take that win, they put themselves at around 5th place, right out of playoffs, 6th place still. Unfortunate, unlucky, but they did beat UCI if that's what happens.
Yeah, and that's the way to do it. Beat that team that previously was the best in the West, previously the best in all of North America for years at a time, and just reclaim that title for yourself. And again, UCI has an enormous League of Legends club. They've got a large pool of players to pull from. We'll see if they're going to be able to bounce back in the Campus Series uLoL 2017 after this match. But we have loaded onto the Rift. Ladies and gentlemen, your eyes do not deceive you. That is Jhin mid lane, Rumble jungle, a Nocturne in professional play, and Poppy support. I like it.
UCLA's team comp looks like people were fighting in Champion Select.
I'm AD carry. No, I am AD carry.
Top lane. It's like Nautilus is like, no, I'm going top. It's like, you go support. Like, no.
No, I am going
so
top.
Rumble pivoted and it was like, fine, I'll jungle. And then skill shots fired. Like, you troll. Oh, Jhin mid. Screw everybody else.
Insta-lock.
Boom.
It was a rather good draft for UCI to answer. They've got some long-range poke with Lux and Ezreal. They've got some disengage with Poppy. And some hard engage if they find someone out of position with Kiru. We'll see how they're going to do as everyone looks to pull off standard lanes this time around.
UCLA have a team fighting composition again. They do have pick potential. They have AoE. Their comp just looks way better in a 5-on-5, which is a great way to play League of Legends in non-professional play when you have less coordinated team members in terms of strategy. So you don't have all that time to be like, oh, analysts, let's figure out what they're doing here. Let's try this strategy. You'll usually just group up and try to team fight. In a lot of tournaments, you'll still see a Mumu jungle and stuff like that because people really like having just a wombo combo and 5v5ing because that's how they win the game.
Engage,
it's the
bandage.
easiest way to win the game.
Just skill shots fired. Oh, takes a bit of damage. Thunderlords trades it back over as Chiswick gets that first damage. Oh, can he get the minion wave? Oh, Bounce doesn't quite clear that out, but he's still got a few auto attacks stacked in the chamber.
You're going to see a lot of Jhins, what they can do, because Jhin is fixed auto attack and the ammo and the 2.5 seconds of reload. A lot of Jhins will just last hit with those auto attacks. Very easy to do so because they do so much damage. But they save the Q, the grenade, for when they're reloading. Doesn't interrupt your reload, you throw it out, and that's how you get that those CS that you would be missing normally.
The continual damage output is uninterrupted. See how that works out as level 2 is picked up. A lot of Ren stacks, finds Mockingjay. He's healing up, but eats just a bit more damage as Daphne misses the binding there.
Yeah, back and forth in his bot lane. This is favorable, though, towards the Kalista bot lane because you have Morgana, who's one of the best supports to throw in with a Kalista because they have that. She has that ranged auto attack that will allow you to set off that passive, get that % HP damage, and then Poppy really has no answer. Poppy just runs back and forth.
Yeah, seems like that's what we're seeing out of Mockingjay. Great way to shut down that Kalista later on with the steadfast presence, but for the time being, there is no way he's going to be able to get in there. Does a spell shield prevent the steadfast presence interrupt? If you put Black Shield on Kalista, can she hop around
It's
inside?
a spell effect, so I believe it should.
Interesting.
And it does magic damage, I believe, when somebody jumps, so it should happen that way. Anyway, Rumble went into the jungle.
We'll see that interaction, yeah.
Stop the blue buff from being taken from Captain Kiru. So low on mana, but what's wrong? Able to ward it up and able to stop that and delay the jungle even more. So he's backing because he doesn't have enough mana to actually attempt it again. And that ward is there, so you know that Rumble will just walk up again and actually kill you.
Yeah, he's taking Scuttle Crab right now for some free health. Hook finds Tower of God, gets some good damage with the turret. Corrupting Potion versus Doran's Blade. Tower of God is going to passively push this, and Soy is so happy to catch that wave under the turret and continue fun.
Yep. Soy up against Tower of God. Tower of God, though.
Ooh, that was a lot of damage.
Yeah, decent amount of damage there.
Ooh,
oh, boy.
I don't know if Soy wanted that hook, but looks like he's going to get out just fine.
Yeah, funny story, actually. I was talking to Alex, the analyst from UCLA, and he was saying that Soy called Tower of God a monkey.
Oh.
Because all he knows how to do is just push the lane.
Oh.
All he knows how to do is just run at the other laner. So that's why he doesn't care about him. Yeah, that's why he was focusing on MJ. He's like, I want to kill the guy I went to high school with from my Fives team before.
You want to get a kill that has value.
Yeah, that's basically what he's saying. So Tower of God, there's some actual trash talk, not just by me, going down in that top lane.
A little bit of BM to salt the wounds of UC Irvine as they look for revenge in this game number 2. So far, skill shots fired is doing pretty happy in that mid lane. He's ahead in CS by just a few, while the push from Light Sludge and Daphne in the bottom shoves out the minion wave.
Mockingjay picking up the shield, making sure that doesn't take too much damage when he goes try and get some presence in the lane. Presence is very important, especially in a matchup where it's double range versus one support that's melee. It becomes very important because you have to be able to threaten that Morgana at pretty much all times with your positioning, but if you miss position, you get caught instead. There's a nice little dance there between that dynamic.
See how that continues to work out as that steadfast presence from Mockingjay is going to be used. Junglers continue to farm it up. Still no recall out of what's wrong. He cleared through his own jungle twice, and now teleport from Chizek gets him back into the mid lane.
Yep. Making sure that he stays close in CS because skill shots fired is 10 up on him right now, and it's super early on. Speaking of 10 up, Tower of God's going to be 10 up, but also a little bit more here.
Ooh, dashes back for a quick auto to get some additional damage. But ends up taking ends up worse for wear after that trade. Has to burn through a few potions.
Tower of God pretty close to 6.
Oh boy, Soy. Looking for a little bit more action onto Tower of God. There's no sign of the junglers just yet as Kiru is hard farming to get level 6. It is double level 6. Hook clears out the minion.
Yeah, if that minion had died and that hook had landed, it could have maybe been a combo there for Soy. A little bit low on mana though, so it may have not been a full combo with a Q, E, and then an R, and then a root after for that extra damage. So still have to be wary of that. Nautilus does have a decent amount of base damage, so.
Yeah, you wouldn't expect Nautilus to have high kill pressure, but...
Captain Kiru went for a level 6 route, so he's level 6, 7 minutes in though, so a little bit slower.
He's now on the bottom side
for
of the
bot
map,
side
though, yeah. Looking for the paranoia, but Light Sludge and Daphne still safe for now. He's going to try to creep around, get into range, but the wave finally pushing in favor of UC Irvine means that this gank is not going to be able to be pulled off quite easily, and all of the waves, in fact, pushing, or at least even now. Suddenly, Captain Kiru, yes, he gets the level 6, but he can't do anything with it.
Yep, playing very safe on UCLA's side in the spot lane, despite it being a mechanical matchup that they think favors Light Sludge very heavily. They're not underestimating the whole of UCI. So paying respects to that Nocturne. He could be anywhere. Schrodinger's Nocturne. He is both in your lane and not in your lane until you know.
That's the Evelyn dichotomy. Yep. Schrodinger's Evelyn.
Yep.
She is both in your lane and not in your lane until proven otherwise. Everyone continues to farm it out and play nice and passive. Light Sludge taking it so slow. Now that he knows that Nocturne could be level 6, he doesn't want to take any chances. What's wrong? Level 6 on his own. Going for the Smite Stone.
Yeah, may go top lane here from Captain Kiru. He's on that top side. Soy has been shoved up pretty far, and Nautilus, you can outplay him pretty heavily. So let's see what happens here. He's moving towards that top lane. It looks like he just got the gank called off. Wow, he like even just walked a little bit towards it. Now he's coming back.
He can't quite make up his mind. Tower of God finds some damage. Captain Kiru having some difficulty finding a favorable target as Soy just continues trading it out.
And that's the type of damage that Nautilus is going to do to you from base damages. So you have to be very careful. And now Captain Kiru off on the side, but this wave is now shoved so far up that this becomes a turret dive against the Nautilus, which is not ideal. His roots, his CC. Yeah, you don't want to do that. There's the Rift Herald, going to be an easier target for you to take. Do they see a Nocturne with that ward, though? Not sure. Don't believe they did. So
yeah, even Chizek was cheating up towards that side of the map, just in case he would have to fire off a final spark. Or a Finalis Funkin, for those of you old school League players.
And this is just Mockingjay staying in the bot lane, and yeah, Finalis Funkin. And rat-tat-tat. Triggered. I missed that.
Rat-a-tat-tat.
Yeah.
Graves.
Spray and pray, man.
Content to try to keep his lungs healthy in the top lane. Taking it nice and calm. Now Dragon is going to be secured.
Oh. I was like, what,
It took you a real long time.
No, still, explain why.
He has no cigar.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay. You're talking about the changes.
Yes.
Cool.
Changes.
Yeah, stop smoking. You see results pretty quickly. That's going to blow up, though. Tower of God. Oh, it doesn't have ammo.
Oh, Soy flashes actually into the top lane. I assume he tossed a hook and missed it. Yeah, Tower of God also flashed.
Yeah, he wanted to flash, possibly ulti flash hook, but they both flashed in that top side. So nobody ends up getting a kill there. But the base damages from Nautilus, nothing to toy around with. And those tower shots, of course, on top. So what's wrong has just been farming as much as he can this game. Rumble, you really need that level 6 power spike. And Rumble with Runic Echoes is really where he shines. Get that extra movement speed. And that's what Rumble needs, just movement speed to get towards people.
Everyone's continuing to farm it out. Completely different paced game from what we saw in game number 1. I assume we're going to be seeing some explosions soon, but that soon could be in 10 minutes to an hour.
TM.
Trademark.
Put the soon TM on this game. But, of course, Jhin in the mid lane. Jhin was sometimes considered, people were saying, especially in like playtests and outside of it right after, were saying Jhin looks like he might be a good mid laner. Not 100% sold on it, but I do think that he's got the potential.
He's very immobile, and he does have very, very high damage scaling.
Yeah.
But if anyone gets onto his face and gets even just a little bit of CC, he gonna die.
Yeah, but that's why if you play him mid, you get to take cleanse as opposed to heal in the bot lane.
Ooh, Tower of God dashes back into the hook.
Tower of God. He walks out half HP. Soy walks out.
Oh, speaking of somebody diving onto shots fired, there it goes. Burns the cleanse flash, but first blood for Chizek with the homing auto attack.
And there goes the ultimate from What's Wrong and the TP from Soy.
Chizek is the target. There's the depth charge. Can he get out of here? Looks like What's Wrong is overheating. Can he quite find it? There's the final spark. What's Wrong is taking a lot of damage. He goes down. That did not go how UCLA wanted it. They're now turning on
Chizek
to
almost
Soy.
has binding.
Oh, man. Will he be able to get it? The light binding does get it. Chizek with the long-range binding.
That's 3 kills going over to UCI off of an engage that they started. They picked off skill shots fired right off the bat, and that's going to give them a healthy lead at the start. And they bragged about how their strength is when they get a lead, snowballing it. They're really good at that. And it didn't work out for them last game, but now you can see this gigantic snowball because they got free time in that top lane with Graves, and he was able to take that turret.
Very solid play from UC Irvine. Gives them a large advantage after this early game. Even CS in both the mid and bottom lane, so the pressure of UCLA not paying off. And UC Irvine suffering in the top lane, suffering in the jungle, and now they've got those kills to add on top of it.
Yeah, the Nocturne pick, quite good, especially into Jhin, because you just point and click and you're on Jhin regardless of if he's in the backline or not. Which, when Jhin came out, was one of the frustrations when playing against him, is that he has a root, he has a slow with traps, and then his ultimate is actually sometimes used more often as an engage tool, where you just throw out shots and slow people, because that slow is rather intense, and then people start to dodge your next bullet, so you can actually change the movement of your enemy, especially if you hit them with the first one, because they're slowed, then they want to dodge the next one, and your teammates are trying to catch up to them. So if they run straight, they're going to get hit by another. Really good ultimate there with the curtain call, when used correctly.
Binding finds AMJ. Mockingjay has to dash forward to make sure that he's safe.
Oh,
he's taking a lot of damage. Flashes back in. There's a late teleport. Where's the Ren? Yes! Light Sludge gets it, but he's going to trade his life over. It's Chizek who shows in the bottom. The binding finds Daphne. AMJ is trying to get ahead of the minions, but he can't quite clear it. He's looking for it. Final Spark should be able to find Daphne just a bit. There goes the Paranoia. He gets the kill in the bottom lane, and Soy goes down in the top. UC Irvine are blowing this game open.
This is the snowball here. Light Sludge went really hard to get all those stacks off on Mockingjay. Maybe could have rendered a little bit earlier, but decided to make sure it was 100%, and the TP came through from Chizek in the mid lane, and he picks up another kill on that Morgana. But that gives up mid pressure. His mid lane's going to go down here. Good turret taker for Jhin. There's actually some debate back and forth on how great he is at taking turrets because he doesn't attack too often.
His base damage is so high.
Yeah, his base damage is so high, but of course with the speed, it equates to pretty much what you'd be getting out of a regular AD carry. So it's debatable on how good he is at taking turrets. He's definitely better when you only get 1 or 2 shots on it. I mean, when people are like, oh, I can only walk up for 1 hit.
A pot shot, yeah.
Yeah.
Quick 1-2.
Definitely good for those.
Looks like Rift Herald is going to be secured. Herald the Herald. Now going to be going down. Oh, that binding narrowly misses Chizek.
It's UCI taking more objectives on the map here with this 4,000 gold lead. If they aren't able to close this game out, then it's going to be a big problem for them. And you see Tower of God backing. Frozen Mallet first for Graves, so it's Tank Graves. Oh boy.
Skill shots fired has got nowhere to go. Looks like a bit of trading in the mid lane. Doesn't yield a kill. As Light Sludge looks for damage on this bottom tier 1 turret. AMJ clears the minion wave as quick as he can.
Yeah, picks up a decent amount of CS for himself as well, not missing too many. Mockingjay on his way bottom, but hold on. I'm gonna let you finish, but gotta kill the Sen. Need free gold. Supports be broke.
Additional 10 gold pulled up. They're looking for it. Knock up, binding
he walks forward.
misses. Mockingjay comes in, finds Light Sludge, who's forced to auto-attack. There goes the teleport from Tower of God. It's a little bit late. He does have the Rift Herald buff.
Pretty fast.
Try to find some damage, dodges the binding. Here's what's wrong in addition. They're going to get just a bit of poke as they look for damage onto this tier 1 turret.
Oh, if he goes too hard, Jhin is also around in the area, so it's actually a 4-on-3 Nocturne coming towards the bot lane. And you still see Chizek clearing out mid, so now that mid turret's going to take some damage from that minion wave, but it's still 4-on-3 in the bot side. Nocturne hanging out. Soy unanswered top tower.
God takes a lot of binding. He's forced to eat all of that damage. He's destroyed by skill shots fired while Rumble takes a quick ride out of town. MJ gets chunked low, down to about 210 health. He's still alive. True Shot Barrage is going to finish it off along with a Mystic Shot. MJ gets Soy. It's 1 for 1.
I still think you play around Chizek here. If he can land bindings or slows and dictate the way that they move. Ooh.
That was a late flash, but it gets him out in time. Not quite able to find the snare as What's Wrong looks for the Electro Harpoon.
Yep, and that's going to be a disengaged team fight when it goes 1 for 1, both top laners dropping. That was a nice W there from skill shots fired. Ends up getting the root off, and then the Deadly Flourish, followed up by the Dark Binding. Makes it so he's still in tower range as well. But oh, so close. But it still goes over to Chizek.
Blue buff secured by Chizek. Been farming rather well. Now 3-0-1 after getting all of those kills. Morello's and Needlessly, while What's Wrong tries to chunk it out.
Yeah, sometimes you ban out Lulu and then realize the guy has a champion that he might be a little more comfortable on here.
Did you know on Jhin there's a timer before his auto attacks automatically reload, so you can sit on that 4th bullet for I believe it's 10 or 15 seconds?
I think it's 10 seconds.
But as long as you are in combat, or that combat refreshes, it doesn't quite reload just yet. Soy is going to start it off with combat. A little bit of damage being traded across, not quite going to yield any kills. The point that I'm getting at is you can place a trap to reset your combat status. So you wait 10 or 14 seconds, and then you place 1 trap, and you can sit on that 4th bullet for longer.
It depends. Fourth bullet is always a gamble, because you want that guaranteed crit, but you're going to be running backwards immediately after you use it. So if you run up and you crit somebody and you get that upfront burst, maybe, and then it depends on if they have gap closers, because if they have gap closers and they can catch you right after, then you just want to show up with 4 bullets, because you want to be able to shoot, and have all of that damage to pump out. The guaranteed crit and then the movement speed afterwards, if it's the Nocturne just ulties onto you, and then you're reloading for 2.5 seconds and going, oh god, the burst wasn't worth it.
Oh god, the pain.
Yep.
Speaking of pain, Dragon number 1 goes down for UC Irvine. No answer from UCLA, as they are down about 3,500 gold. Not manifesting in a lot of items so far, as Essence Reaver looks to be the first item out of skill shots fired. Blade of the Ruined King finished for Sludge as he looks for a Randuin's to add on top of it, while the scaling has been well on its way for UC Irvine. That Ezreal becoming so very scary, while Tower of God just gets tankier and tankier.
Yeah, it not being a lane swap game actually played out rather well for UC Irvine. Tower of God with a 40 CS advantage, and then bot lane, MJ, still doing rather well, despite it being a blue Ezreal build. Takes a long time to come online. 2 kills for himself, and about 15 CS down, so he survived the laning phase. He's doing well, and blue Ezreal with Lux is just so frustrating to play against. You're just getting kited around by 2 champions, and you only have
long range.
Yeah, you only have enough engage for maybe 1 or 2, but if UCLA are able to split it appropriately and follow up after killing one, then they'll be fine.
20 minutes into the game, UC Irvine lead, but they're patient to take their time with that lead. That was one of their strengths that they mentioned. Once they get ahead, they can snowball it.
I mentioned their strengths a lot.
Yeah, seems as though they're taking their time with this one. Don't want to take any chances as they did in game number 1. Multiple turret pressure going across the map. Daphne trying to get some zoning onto Chizak, while MJ looks for the bottom tier 1, shoving wave after wave. There's no one to help Light Sludge. Can he clear the wave in time? Or will MJ finally be able to break it down?
What, did they have something else in mind? Not getting the turret? They saw Morgana mid. You can get some damage there on the turret. The thing that gives you gold when you kill it.
The plan, the target?
Yeah. I guess he was super scared, possibly TP from behind. That's why they swept out and got them pink wards out. So making sure that they're nice and safe and that their TPs when they come up, which Tower of Gods is about to.
This
right
hesitancy could be a problem for UC Irvine. They haven't really made anything happen in the past 10 minutes or so. And yes, they are continuing to scale up. They're taking their time with this game, but Jin and Callista, not to mention Rumble, get pretty scary.
Yeah, it's definitely a mid-game and late-game power spiky team here for UCLA. But UCI, I think they've had their foot on the gas for a little bit. I wouldn't say 10 minutes. I'd say maybe 4 at this point, because there were some kills that happened quite recently.
Yeah, they did take that dragon.
And that 1-for-1 in the bot lane. Maybe 5.
You're making me look bad, Zyrene.
Hey, we talked about how slow this game was 10 minutes ago. That's that. I remember
that's
11 minutes.
Right.
But look at this.
Speaking of action, skill shots fired is, whoa, going to finally go down. Captain Kiru even flashes in to try to make sure that kill is secured. Skill shots fired did not stand a chance.
And that's not an ultimate from What's Wrong either. He's just running around, hasn't thrown it out yet, overheated.
That's a lot of damage. Tower of God can't quite find the range. The shotgun from Tower of God not doing enough. Chizek low on mana, low chance to survive, forced to flash away. He's so low. The Cinder Hulk is doing work. Finally, it secures it. Tower of God trying to get some more. He flashes, dashes. Can he get the kill? What's wrong? Overheats again. And Soy, that Cinder Hulk is doing so much damage. It's finally able to get it. Finally goes down. What's wrong? Oh, gets chunked out even more. The turret doesn't quite get it. Oh my goodness, everybody's so low health. And there was even action in the bottom.
There was. That's going to be Mockingjay going down. Blows his flash and his ignite. And look at this curtain call.
Oh, one kill. Is he going to be able to get 2? He's firing the bullets away. Oh, doesn't quite find number 2.
Not quite, but that's the turret going down in the mid lane, the tier 2. No longer part of this world. And that bottom tier 1 as well. So towers 3 in favor of UCI, and they're still about that 3,300 gold lead for themselves. Interesting conflicts here, because Soy, you saw him walk up and he's just swinging away. He thought he had enough damage to take out Tower of God. That's a Frozen Mallet Sterix Gauge Graves. His damage isn't that high right now, actually. He wants to walk up to your face and then pretty much just uses True Grit for tankiness and continue to get these close range shots that are increased in damage by how many pellets are hitting you. But it looks like he'll go Ma next, so Frozen Mallet was almost his replacement to a Yomu's. Because you usually go top lane, Yomu's first, then you go Ma, and then you also get the Sterix. But Yomu's against a Sunfire Cape top laner, it's a lot of armor he's going to be stacking. The 20 armor penetration doesn't mean much, so I actually think it's a good adaptation.
Oh, Light Sludge is playing a dangerous game, and he goes down. Captain Kiru with the Warriors Titanic Hydra.
Oh, wow. Titanic Hydra is such a powerful item. Even on Devourer junglers, I think it actually shines more on Devourer junglers because you just get so much extra damage. Shots fired! Shots fired!
Oh, shots fired, shots landed. Kill is going to be picked up. Mockingjay turns it around on the Soy. Can they keep him occupied for long enough? Equalizer finds Mockingjay. He takes a lot of damage, but Soy goes down to a double kill. Tower of God. He's got the collateral damage. He doesn't have the collateral kill. He dashes in for Daphne. Ruh-roh Raggy. Daphne's running to safety, but she's going to go down. Mr. Jenkins is, in fact, Tower of God.
Yep. Oh, man. I knew it all along. He would have gotten away with it, too, if it wasn't for those UCLA kids.
Oh, the inhibitor turret is going to go down with 3 members still dead. They might look to push, but with low health bars, decide to play it safe.
Yeah, but bot lane is already being pushed by Captain Kiru. He's been pushing this the entire time, ever since he killed Light Sludge. Just now the fact that the Nocturne can assassinate your AD carry on UCLA's side, you have to be incredibly worried about where you place Light Sludge, one of your better players. Otherwise, just going to get assassinated every time.
UC Irvine picking up that solid kill in the bottom lane. Light Sludge has to play a very, very scary game from here on out, knowing that Nocturne could be anywhere. It sort of creates a sense of paranoia.
It's an aptly named ability.
Almost as if it was designed with that champion. Oh, wait.
With that use in mind. Yeah.
25 minutes in, UC Irvine continuing to try snowballing this game. Looking for Dragon number 2 as it respawns. Not quite pulling the trigger on it. Decide to let it stand for now, as they're now up to a 7,200 gold lead. And they've knocked down that mid inhibitor turret. If they can break down the inhibitor, that would open up the game for them. But with that safety still up, UCLA still have got an opportunity to get back into this.
Yep. Soy taking down this top turret. It's what he's going to choose to give up the Dragon for. It's just Dragon 2. Oh, nope. It's not even going to go down. And I want to touch back on that rivalry. There's actually a couple things here. Soy, he's talking about how he wants to kill MJ so badly, and how Tower of God is a monkey. That's not looking too well in his own scoreline.
Yeah.
1-5. I mean, what's that saying? It's like talk something, get hit. I think it rhymes, but we're not. Yeah.
Oh boy. It seems like we're seeing the beginning of a new rivalry between Soy and Tower of God. This guy is just making rivalries with everybody. He's down in CS. This is going to be the tier 2 turret going down with no response. Captain Kiru, good spell shield to get out of the snare.
There's a really good spell shield there. Tower of God, low damage, but now he's going for that Maw, so he does have a bit of resistances on top of his HP that'll allow him to deal with Soy. So he's going to constantly shove in. He's going to cause Soy to put his body at risk when he ends up trying to clear these waves, and that might be what does it and gives him this top turret, because this is almost a 10,000 gold lead here for UC Irvine.
Tower of God takes a few turret hits and just shrugs them off. There's a paranoia. Captain Kiru has found skill shots, but he can't quite get through the binding. True Shot Barrage finds some damage, but skill shots is still alive. But that's another flash burned.
Yeah, now they can go mid and they can get this inhibitor because they know that skill shots fired has to go back. So you siege this up and
Ooh, what's wrong knows what's wrong. Takes a lot of damage from Chiswick. That's 2 backs now. Soy is there with Light Sludge completed. Oh, curtain call.
Oh, there's the slow.
Gets a bit of damage.
Nothing more.
Makes it out of range.
Yeah, if you cancel curtain call early, you get refunded some of the cooldown based on the shots you didn't use. So throwing out those shots where you didn't get the one that you really wanted afterwards, just actually a waste.
Wasted the cooldown. Tower of God takes a lot of damage. He's so tanky, though. Captain Kiru in the front, low on mana, but high on kill threat. Oh, wow, collateral damage gets it. He finds Light Sludge and pins him against the wall. There goes a knock-up on the Tower of God. He's so low, snared under the turret. Soy gets the kill. The rivalry is still alive and kicking, but MJ is looking for another one. True Shot Barrage, double kill for MJ.
MJ is like, kill that, man. Nope. Gonna take him back to high school. And MJ, he's going to take this inhibitor, and that's UCI getting themselves a 12,000 gold lead in 2 inhibitors.
Yeah, they're not going to be able to end the game just yet, but that's 2 inhibitors 29 minutes in. They have got a huge advantage. 2 dragons to 1. As you mentioned, 12,000 gold. Captain Kiru.
Yeah, maybe even 3 inhibs here. There's 20 seconds on Soy, 4 on Light Sludge. HP bars are okay on UC Irvine's side. TP on Tower of God. They're just going to get this tower, and they're going to leave that last inhibitor up. Just not going to risk it.
Decide to take it safe and slow, calm, and steady. UC Irvine making a plan and following through. That is giving them a lot of success now that they are ahead.
Very
UCLA
ahead.
are having a lot of difficulty finding these 5v5 team fights that their comp is built around. A complete reversal from the last game.
Yeah, and I think even if you pick a 5v5 fight, Captain Kiru, he can split push, he can dive into your back line, he can make your 5v5 actually awful, because UCLA, Soy he can't peel everybody off of his carries, and Tower of God has the Frozen Mallet, so the slow is so intense. Oh, and what's wrong?
Yeah, that's a really big cooldown on that equalizer used rather haphazardly. That means that this Baron fight is free for UC Irvine. They're just going to try to bait this out and pull UCLA in, knowing that cooldown is off.
There's also just so many minions in the base. 2 inhibitors down. Time to buy time. Time to get some chip damage away.
They could be looking for the Baron right now. They're trying to burn through its health in the pit. There he goes, dives onto Daphne, but he gets pulled out with the Fates Call. The AoE gets tossed, and it's a quick double kill for MJ, and another kill for Mockingjay. This guy is catching
Soy
fire.
wants to kill him.
Oh, Soy is trying to get out of there. He goes down to Tower of God. 4 members dead. Chizek with the deep teleport. He's going to look for skill shots fired. He's walking into it. Oh, no. He's almost certainly going to go down. Chizek trying to get this kill. There's the ace. 5 members dead. 50 seconds on the respawn. 20 for everyone else. And UC Irvine even it right back up. I guess we don't know who's the best in SoCal because it's tied as UC Irvine win game number 2 over University of California, Los Angeles.
I guess we have a tie. It looks like they have to come back next year and find out who's going to be the #1 school. And even then, we might have another tie.
Exactly.
But they both walk away with 1 win, 1 more point, and of course, no playoffs for them. But it looked like they had a lot of fun there. It looked like it was a back and forth in terms of, I'm getting the better of this matchup, and I hate you. And,
Yeah.
But of course, at the end of the day, they're friends, and maybe they'll actually see each other at a club meeting.
Exactly. This reminds me of like the proper rivalry, like a sort of anime thing where you win fight #1, then you've got fight #2, and it's just back and forth and back and forth. Well, tune in next year to find out who's the best in Southern California.
They just make each other stronger. That's the whole thing, right?
We're going to find out. But that is our last game. And again, University of California, Irvine, they played the early game. They took a couple of quick kills, and they just snowballed that advantage.
Yeah, that first dive on the mid where they got 3 kills was so big because shots fired ends up going down. He flashed and used both of his cooldowns, which made it so that his lane presence was worse when he got back. And then the TP came in, but they actually end up getting right underneath turret. The binding when What's Wrong had aggro, and then he gets picked up, gets killed, and now Soy trying to run away. And Chizek had such a good game. His Lux was on point. If you pick Lux and you aren't able to actually land those skill shots consistently, then you're basically playing a shield bot. And he played
But even then,
so
the shields are a skill shot.
Yeah,
so
true.
Chizek says, you know what, skill shots fired? I'm going to fire some of my own, and answers right back. As you can see, 7-2 after it's all said and done, and the dives were non-stop. Poor skill shots fired had the worst time of his life in that mid lane.
Yeah, he almost had Flash, and he still had Cleanse, but it's so difficult when you're playing against a Nocturne. I think the Nocturne pick here from UCI for Captain Kiru made a huge difference. Able to get to both of these 80 carries and make it so they couldn't even play League of Legends.
Holding on to that for the last pick. The draft phase, very effective. Chizek, I believe, finally goes down, but Soy will trade his life over as Tower of God comes up huge with that powerful flash, killing Soy and able to keep alive, while the rest of his team gets a kill in the bottom lane.
Yep, so many stacks on that Poppy. Mockingjay was kind of invisible this game for a large portion of it. He was just playing in that bottom lane. And the skill shots.
MJ tips his Fedora towards skill shots fired, and that's it. Now Soy is going to end up going down here. And it really seemed like we didn't get a chance to see the UCLA that we saw in game #1. It really looked like a different team in this game #2, as they just struggled with the pressure that UCI were putting on.
Yeah, and UCI in game 1, they struggled to keep their pressure up because they did have a gold lead, but then it just didn't work out for them. This play as well, a little too far forward, want to engage it, and then Chizek's over the wall. Tower of God, he's tanky. He's really tanky. So he doesn't take the damage that they thought he would. And Captain Kiru, too far forward. Tower of God said he was tanky. He still does a decent amount of damage with collateral damage. This was an overchase as well. Tower of God dies underneath the turret after the roots. And then MJ's there to pick it up. And he flashes just to go after Soy. And then the swag ulti for the kill there.
Reads the skill shot.
Knows that he can get him with it. So he basically says, Soy ball in the corner pocket. calls his shot on that one.
And sinks it. This is the final fight that ends up securing the win for UC Irvine. And at this point, it's just stacking the AoE to net the kill. A little bit of a hook to deny the deep teleport before Chizek gets one of his own. But UC Irvine capping off the Campus Series regular season with a decisive win.
Yeah, a high note for both of these teams. Of course, splitting it 1-1, you really don't get those 3 points. But, I mean, at the end of the day, it was all about having fun against a rival and having the season go out with a bang.
Yeah, it certainly was. But that's going to be it for the regular season. If you want to find out more or watch any of the VODs to keep up with the teams, head on over to uLoL.leagueoflegends.com. We're going to have the updated standings up there soon, so you can see who's going to be heading into playoffs just as soon as we get that locked down ourselves. But on behalf of myself, Aiden, the entire production crew for the uLoL Campus Series, thank you so much for watching, and stay tuned to our website for info on playoffs and that championship.
Zat, zat, zat.
Oh, 1-1
Gotta get it in there. Gotta get it in there.